Okay, here we are at the 122. I'm Vito Fossella. Pleased to be joined by Borough Commander Melissa Eger and CEO of the 122, Mr. Karuba. We're here to bring attention to an issue that seems to have gotten a little worse over the last few months. And we're standing here not just in the front of the 122, but specifically on Hylan Boulevard, right in front of the bus-only lane. And unfortunately, there have been a lot of accidents, 32 alone this year, where folks are making a right-hand turn from the middle lane and causing an accident for somebody who's driving, if you will, in the bus-only lane. In fact, there's been 7 accidents in the last 4 weeks. That's one every day, every 4 days. Again, where somebody, perhaps unwittingly or unknowingly, thinks that they must turn from the middle lane in order to make a right-hand turn. But other than those hours of 6 to 9 in the morning going towards the Verrazano and 3 to 7 going towards Tottenville, the bus lane is open for use. And just as importantly, even when it is a bus-only lane, if you want to make a right-hand turn, you can get into that lane about a block or so before in order to do so. I think we've all sort of witnessed accidents like that or close to accidents, and we want the city to just take a more proactive approach to understand what's going on, perhaps more signage, perhaps signs in the roadbed itself, bigger signs on the poles. Somebody's going to get severely hurt if they haven't done so already. In fact, I saw one just a couple of weeks ago, and we called up to confirm with CEO Karuba, and it affirmed and validated what our concerns was. So really the person who runs the show here in Staten Island does a wonderful job representing the men and women in blue, Borough Commander Melissa Eger.
Thank you. Thank you, and good morning. I really want to begin by recognizing and thanking our Borough President, Vito Fossella, for his partnership and continuing to prioritize safety across Staten Island, and really for raising this really important public safety issue. I also want to thank Deputy Inspector Luigi Karuba, the commanding officer of the 122 precinct, for leading the charge in this increase in awareness and education to the issue of unsafe turning, specifically in bus lanes. So these unsafe turning behaviors, especially improper turns from the middle lane, have become far too common in Staten Island, and especially along the corridor of Hylan Boulevard that you see here behind us, and really other busy Staten Island roadways as well. These actions put drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists at serious risk. And they are completely avoidable as well. I want to take a moment to clarify a few key rules regarding bus lanes. When bus lanes are active, drivers may only enter them and make the next available right-hand turn, and must do so safely and legally. Outside of posted hours, most bus lanes are open for general travel, as our borough president mentioned. But during the active hours, they should not be used for driving, stopping, or for deliveries. Center or median lanes, such as the ones that are on Richmond Avenue, should never, ever be entered during hours of operation. These lanes are reserved strictly for buses and emergency vehicles. Here in Staten Island, several key corridors, transit corridors, have these bus lanes. On Hylan Boulevard, these lanes are active during weekday rush hours, and I'll speak a little bit more specifically about these parameters. Hylan Boulevard between Steuben Avenue and Nelson Avenue on the northbound side is in effect Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., and intermittently on the southbound side of Hylan Boulevard, and is in effect Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. On Victory Boulevard, these lanes are active in both directions during our AM and PM rush peaks. On Richmond Avenue, these include curb and center lanes. These are in effect at all times. And then on Father Capodanno Boulevard, the northbound bus lanes are active 24/7. Our message to our public, to our Staten Island community, is clear and simple. Use the bus lanes properly. Turn safely and follow these rules. These lanes support transit efficiency, but more importantly, they protect everyone on the road. So we in Patrol Borough Staten Island will always continue to work closely with our local and city partners to improve signage and increase awareness. And when necessary, we will and we do enforce. But our main goal is always to prevent injuries and to save lives and to keep our roadways safe for our community. So let's break this habit of unsafe turns and let's work together to keep our streets safe for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay. Thank you very much, Chief. There's a reason why we have the best police force in the entire world, because of Inspector Karuba and Borough Commander Eger and all the folks here in Staten Island. We're blessed to have NYPD. It's about public safety. This was about public safety. As I mentioned, if you can envision a right-hand turn from a middle lane and somebody coming maybe 30, 40 miles an hour clipping into the passenger side, it's not an empty gesture. It's a very serious problem. So with that, any questions? Yeah. Hey, Barbara, good to see you.
So you mentioned signage a little bit. I feel like maybe there's too much or too little signage around Hylan. Some of the bus lanes are a little cracked. You can't really see that there's no buses. So can you expand on that a little bit more about the possible problems with signage?
I think the first thing really what we hear is this is a problem. You know, and like everything else in life, as soon as you acknowledge that something's a problem, let's work together to get the best solutions possible. So I don't pretend to have that. We have some very good engineers and at DOT, and my hope is that they will work to understand that this is a problem, and I believe they do. And now we'll begin consultation with them to figure out the best way forward. I don't have the silver bullet response, and I'm humble enough to admit that. Chief, you have anything?
Yeah, I'll just say each precinct and at our patrol borough, we have officers and supervisors dedicated to traffic safety. We have traffic safety units, and we collaborate and share information with our Department of Transportation leadership.
Yep.
Mike Maggio from the Advance. In the press release for this, I think it mentioned that there were 32 accidents on Hylan Boulevard this year where turning from the middle lane was a factor in it. I was just, for clarity, was that 32 accidents where it was the main factor or where it was just one of the contributing factors?
Yeah, it was a contributing factor because in all collisions, it's always hard to specify exactly what that driver was experiencing, which is why, you know, first and foremost, we focus on education with, you know, issues such as these.
I think intuitively it feels that a lot of folks, because they don't want their rule, they want to follow the rules. That's where they start. So intuitively they say, I can't go into that lane to make a right. Everybody must be doing it. And then at the last second, they'll make a right. And as I mentioned, and I think they have footage here just today that we'll try to share later, where folks were getting close to accidents as well. So we know of 32 accidents, but there's probably hundreds of other close calls. And that's why we're here to say, let's see if we can stop them. No, I personally, this is my personal opinion, I think we've created such an anti-car culture, not that these folks here have done it, but citywide is let's punish anybody who's driving a car and make their lives as miserable as possible with all types of cameras and everything else. So yeah, I think there's a good chunk of people who are concerned that they're gonna get nailed unnecessarily.
One more follow-up from me. Back to my first question. I understand it's very difficult to know exactly what was going on in some of these situations, but if you guys can speak to it, is there also an issue with Highland Boulevard in particular of other driver behaviors, or maybe speeding or distracted driving adding to this? Like, is it an issue where the turns are compounding like existing conditions, if that makes sense?
Well, I could say, like any other major roadway citywide, Highland Boulevard is certainly one of our major arterial roadways, runs through pretty much the entire island, north to south. So, you see a variety of traffic issues along this major corridor. And we educate and enforce when necessary on a wide variety of conditions.
We're good? All right, thank you.